Hello everyone, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel for another video. Today we're going to be playing with the Spellbinders Ranger Simon Hurley Create release. This one is the Halftone holiday stamp set that comes with a matching die. I love it, and I love this stamp set so much. The detail in it is just gorgeous. It makes making cards that are elegant super easy. It doesn't take a lot of effort. You can color it if you want to. I use some different colored inks. So let's jump into it. I want to make a 5x7. So I have a piece of Nina Desert Storm cardstock cut down to 5 inches by 7 inches. And I've brought in my Weeping Willow Simon Hurley Create ink. I'm going to stamp the pine cones randomly all over this background. And like I said, look at the detail that is on this stamp. Just stamping it like this with that brown ink, I mean, it makes it look so good, and clearly it's taking no effort. So I'll clean that off. There's one more pine cone in here, so I'm going to grab that one as well, and I'll fill in the extra space that's in here. And you can tell it's a little bit different, which is fun. So I'm just going to, like I said, fill in all that background with the rest of this stamp. Didn't do the best job stamping here, but it's fine. We can cover that. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to bring in the Hurley Flourish embossing folder that was just recently released from Spellbinders. Run that through my die cutting machine and take a look. There's a lot of good texture on there. I'm going to bring in some Lunar paste from Simon Hurley Create. This is the Slippery When Wet Lunar paste, and I'm using my finger and kind of just patting that onto my glass mat so I don't have a ton on my finger, and then rubbing that across that texture. I'm being very light with it. I want it to just mostly grip the texture that's on the background. And that'll make that pop even more, and then add this extra element. The Lunar paste has like this shimmer to it that is just so beautiful. And I know there's a couple of new colors out. I don't have those, but I will have to put those on my list to get. All right, so finishing up there, I'll clean up my mess and take a look at that. It's just fun, and there's a lot of great shimmer on there. We'll set that off to the side, and then I'm going to bring in the stamp set, and we are going to stamp out the poinsettia. I'm going to bring in 2 Simon Hurley Create colors. I've got my Game Over and then the Slippery When Wet. I'll start with the Slippery When Wet. We're just going to pounce that kind of in the center of our poinsettia. Use my microfiber cloth to get rid of the excess that I didn't want, because I wanted it mostly in the center. And then I'll bring in our Game Over and stamp the rest of the stamp all over, and then bring in that microfiber cloth again just to kind of clean out the center, because I really do want that Slippery When Wet to pop. But these colors, when overlapped, will make a whole new color. So that's fun too. Isn't that cool? All right, I'm going to do the same thing with our leaves. I've got 3 leaves, and I've brought in some Viper and Fake Plant. We start with our Fake Plant. I'm going to bring in that Viper and just pounce that on there. That'll create a whole nother color. And I didn't try to get it like completely even. I wanted there to be some different variation in the color. Now I'm bringing in the matching dies, and we're going to tack those down with a little bit of mint tape and run that through our die cutting machine. And then we have all these perfectly beautiful die cut images. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I'm looking at this, and I like it, but I don't want that stark white. So I'm going to bring in our Weeping Willow ink again, along with a blending buddy. And I'm going to lightly blend some of that Weeping Willow along the edges. It's not going to affect the Lunar paste too much. And it will kind of antique up, or kind of weather, I guess, age it, this background. And then I do have some on the glass mat, so I'm going to take what's left on the glass mat and on my blending brush. And we're going to end up blending that all over our poinsettia and all of our leaves. And originally I wasn't going to do that, but then I thought, no, I don't want that to be so stark white. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the color to it. I don't want it to be too much, just a little on all the leaves and the poinsettia. And then we'll move on to kind of thinking about our assembly. And I have this strip of white cardstock along with Merry Christmas from our Halftone holiday stamp set. I'm going to stamp Merry Christmas on there with the Weeping Willow. And then again, I have to kind of age that because that's a pretty stark white. You can't really tell a whole lot in the video, but it is definitely kind of gives it that vintagey look to match our stamp set. And now I'm going to do the assembly. So I'll bring in some liquid glue. We'll stick down our Merry Christmas. I'm going to try and line that up using my glass mat. And you could use some foam tape, but I'm going to make this a super easy mailer. So we'll just put all of our elements right down using that same liquid glue. Pop some of those leaves behind our poinsettia like they're They're poking out. And this card has a lot of depth, really, even though it just has some of that texture from the Lunar paste and our embossing folder. I just think this card is great. It was fun. And I've seen some really great things done with some of the rest of the images in this set. So be on the lookout for those if you haven't already seen them. Check out social media, Instagram, all those things. So, all right, I'll trim off the excess here, and then we can attach this down to the front of our card base. And I was wrong. I actually have this trimmed down to be a little bit smaller than 5 inches. It's like 4 3/4 by 7 inches. So before we attach it, I'm going to stamp out another sentiment on the inside that says, wishing you peace and joy this Christmas. And then I'll grab in the poinsettia, and yeah, talk about lazy. I'm using the same stamp block, but I don't need the whole poinsettia, so it doesn't matter. And so I'll ink that up with our Game Over ink and stamp that down in that lower corner. It's perfect, it works great. And then we have a little bit of something on the outside and the inside. And I'll take that one last leaf and put that on the inside as well. You don't see me do it. But I'm going to attach this down to the front of our card base. I'm going to leave a white border on the bottom, and that'll finish off our card. So if you liked this video, be sure to like it, hit that like button, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.